What if I told you that the most repeated piece of productivity advice on the internet is actually making you less productive? You've seen the thumbnails. Tim Cook wakes up at 3:45 a.m. The Rock is in the gym by 4. Every CEO interview mentions their 5 a.m. routine, like it's some kind of secret handshake to success. And you've probably tried it. Set that alarm, dragged yourself out of bed, felt absolutely terrible. Lasted maybe 3 days, then felt like a failure. But here's the thing nobody talks about. It's not discipline you're lacking. It's not willpower. It's not that you're not built for success. It's biology. And today, I'm going to show you why chasing the 5 a.m. lifestyle might actually be sabotaging your potential, and what the science says you should do instead. We're talking chronotypes, sleep architecture, and the productivity habits that actually matter, regardless of when your alarm goes off. By the end of this, you'll understand exactly why some people genuinely thrive at 5 a.m., while others are literally fighting their own DNA. And more importantly, you'll know how to design a schedule that works with your body instead of against it. Because here's the philosophical anchor for everything we're about to cover. Your schedule should serve your life, not the other way around. So let's rewind for a second. Where did this whole 5 a.m. obsession even come from? Look, the 5 a.m. club concept really exploded with Robin Sharma's book. Before that, you had Forbes articles profiling Fortune 500 CEOs and their morning routines. The narrative was simple and seductive. Successful people wake up early. Therefore, if you want to be successful, wake up early. But here's the problem with that logic. It's correlation, not causation. It's like saying successful CEOs wear expensive watches. So if you buy a Rolex, you'll become a CEO. That's not how any of this works. The watch didn't make them successful. Neither did the wake-up time. What actually happened is, these executives found a schedule that worked for their biology, their responsibilities, their life demands. For some of them, yeah, that's 5 a.m. But for plenty of others, not even close. And this is where it gets really interesting. Because your body has something called a chronotype. Think of it as your genetic predisposition for when you naturally feel alert versus when your body wants to shut down. Researchers generally identify 4 chronotypes, though some say more. But the big 2 everyone talks about are early birds and night owls. And here's the real kicker. This isn't a choice. This isn't about discipline or wanting it bad enough. This is literally written into your DNA. A study published in Nature Communications identified over 350 genetic variants that influence whether you're a morning person or an evening person. 350 different genetic markers. This isn't about downloading a better alarm app, people. So when you're forcing yourself awake at 5 a.m. and your body is genetically wired to peak at 10 p.m., you're not building discipline. You're not developing mental toughness. You're just tired, constantly. Chronically tired. Now, this one might surprise you, because the 5 a.m. narrative is so loud, so everywhere, that we completely forget about all the massively successful people who are absolutely not morning people. Barack Obama? He's talked openly about being a night owl, often working until 2 a.m. during his presidency. He said that's when he could finally think clearly. Aaron Levy, CEO of Box billion-dollar tech company, famous for his late-night coding sessions and midnight tweets. Winston Churchill literally worked from bed until 11 a.m. most days, and I don't know, he did okay for himself. Pharrell Williams, Elon Musk, J.R.R. Tolkien, all documented night owls. And Mark Zuckerberg, dude has publicly said he's not a morning person. He schedules most meetings after 10 a.m. The point isn't that night owls are better than early birds. The point is that both can be wildly, outrageously successful. The wake-up time isn't the variable that actually matters. So what do highly successful people have in common then? Honestly, 3 things, and these are way more actionable than set your alarm earlier. First, protected time. Every single highly effective person has at least 60-90 minutes of completely uninterrupted time for their most important work. For some people, that's early morning before emails flood in. For others, it's late night after the house goes quiet. The when doesn't matter. The protection of that time does. Second, consistency. Whatever schedule they follow it consistently. This keeps their circadian rhythm stable, which means better sleep quality, more predictable energy, Sharper focus during the hours that count. Third, self-awareness. They know when they do their best thinking, and they ruthlessly protect those hours. They don't schedule meetings during peak creative time. They don't burn their best cognitive hours on inbox zero. That's the pattern. That's what actually connects successful people across every industry, not some magical alarm time. Here's where I need to get serious for a second. Because forcing a wake-up time that doesn't match your biology isn't just ineffective. It's actually harmful. When you consistently wake up during the wrong part of your sleep cycle, you accumulate something called sleep debt. And sleep debt compounds. It doesn't just make you tired. It tanks your immune system, your cognitive function, your emotional regulation, even your metabolism. A study from the University of Pittsburgh found that people with irregular sleep schedules had significantly higher rates of metabolic dysfunction, even when they got the same total hours of sleep as everyone else. It's not just about quantity, it's about timing and consistency. So when you're dragging yourself up at 5 a.m., hitting snooze 4 times, mainlining coffee by 6, completely crashing by 2 p.m., and then repeating, you're not building success habits. You're building chronic fatigue. The mistake I see all the time is people confusing suffering with productivity. Just because something is hard doesn't mean it's working. So how do you actually figure out your optimal schedule? Here's a simple test. Think about when you naturally wake up on vacation. Like a week into vacation, once your body has had time to fully reset from work stress. That's probably pretty close to your biological preference. If you're naturally waking up at 9 a.m. on day 7 of a beach trip with 0 alarms, guess what? You're probably not a 5 a.m. person, and that's completely fine. There's also a more formal assessment called the Morningness-Eveningness Questionnaire. It's been used in sleep research for decades. Takes maybe 5 minutes. It'll give you a solid baseline understanding of your chronotype. Once you know that, once you actually have that data about your body, you can start designing your days around your biology instead of copying someone else's Instagram routine. This takes like 10 minutes to figure out, and it can change how you structure the rest of your life. Okay, so here's what to actually focus on instead of obsessing over when you wake up. First, identify your peak cognitive hours. For most people, that's somewhere between 90 minutes and 4 hours after waking up. Whenever your waking up happens, protect those hours like they're sacred. No meetings, no emails, just your most important, most demanding work. Second, focus on your pre-sleep routine instead of your morning routine. Here's the thing, how you end your day determines how your next day starts. Blue light blocking by 8 or 9 p.m. No doom scrolling in bed. Same bedtime every night. Yes, even weekends. This consistency is worth more than any $300 sunrise alarm clock. And third, this is honestly the game changer. Start tracking your energy instead of just your time. Keep a simple log for 2 weeks. Nothing fancy. Just note when you feel sharp and when you feel foggy. Patterns will emerge. And those patterns? That's your data, your body, your blueprint. You can do this starting tomorrow. It costs nothing, and the payoff is finally understanding how you actually work. So let's bring this home. You've been told over and over that 5 a.m. is the secret to success. But the real secret, it's understanding your own biology. It's protecting your peak hours whenever they fall. It's consistency over intensity. And it's working with your body instead of punishing it for not being someone else's body. Look, you don't need to overhaul everything overnight. Just pick one thing. Maybe it's taking that chronotype quiz this week. Maybe it's protecting your first 90 minutes of work tomorrow. Maybe it's finally giving yourself permission to stop feeling guilty about not being a morning person. That guilt? It's based on a myth, and you can let it go. If someone tells you you're not successful material because you're not up at 5 a.m., just remind them that Winston Churchill helped save the free world from his bed at 11 a.m. Obama ran the country at midnight. And you're finally going to stop fighting your own DNA. If this video helped you rethink the productivity hustle even a little bit, I'd genuinely love to hear from you in the comments. Are you an early bird or a night owl? And when do you actually do your best work? Drop it below. I read every single comment. Hit subscribe if you want more content that questions the stuff everyone else just blindly accepts. And I'll see you in the next one.